Hey everyone, Fritz here. Have you ever been stuck on the side of the road with your BMW? And maybe it was something as simple as a flat tire or a hose clamp came loose. And you thought to yourself, you know what? I can tackle this job, no problem. All that I really need to do is reach to the back of the BMW trunk to pull out the toolkit and fix it, only to pop the trunk, look underneath the liner to realize that the BMW toolkit of old and even the spare tire is a thing of the past. If you're lucky, you have a fix-a-flat here. Some used BMW owners have that used piece of styrofoam there that the fix-a-flat used to be in. But don't worry, because in today's video, we're actually going to go over these 7 essential tools that you need to keep in your BMW at all times to make sure you are never stranded. Even for those of you who are completely hands-off with your BMW, you actually only need 1 tool to make sure you're never stranded. And we're even doing 2 giveaways in this video. Let's get into it. So the first essential tools that I think that we should look at to keep in your BMW at all times would be the tools that you need to change out a flat tire, just in case. As you can see here, I don't have a flat tire, but if I did, I would want to make sure that I have a jack. And not just any jack, you're going to want a low profile jack, and specifically a scissor jack, because although a bottle jack would fit more compactly in the trunk of your car, the scissor jack is going to be able to get underneath the car and be able to give you enough height in order to take off the wheel and put it back on once you've repaired it. And the other cool thing is that you can actually get a hockey puck in there. A hockey puck is gonna make sure that your jacks are going to be able to lift up the car safely without cracking that plastic portion that eventually they will, just because they're subject to the elements and they're on that lower portion of the car. So they get all that road debris, dust, dirt, rocks, all that, they get it. But there's no reason why we have to accelerate their degradation by not using something like this or a jack pad adapter. But now that you jack the car up, you actually need to take off the wheel. So a lug wrench is going to be perfect for that. And this extendable one is awesome because in its compact form, it stows away very nicely without taking up too much space. But in its extended form, it's going to give you the extension that you need in order to get the leverage to remove your lugs. Now, of course, if you have a set of locking wheel lugs, as I do, then you're going to want to keep your key for that here as well. But the awesome thing about this lug wrench is that it gives you 2 sockets. They actually have different sizes on each side. So technically you have 4 sockets here. And if you have the factory lugs from BMW, typically are a 17 millimeter, the key for the locking nut is usually a 19. And on this one socket right here, you have a 17 and a 19. So no reason to completely change it out. All that you have to do is simply remove it and flip it. And this is actually going to bring us to the first portion of the giveaway, which is we're giving away one of these extendable lug wrenches with those different sockets. This is something that I would want in my BMW at all times, no matter what. And this one lug wrench has actually followed me from my E36 328 IS to my E36 M3 to my Infiniti G37 and finally into the M235i. So this is something that has lasted me a long time and has serviced me well. And I just want to share it with one of you guys. So make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video so that you can learn about part 2 of the giveaway as well as the details to enter. But now that we have the wheel off the car, we actually have to repair it because BMWs nowadays, they don't have a full-size spare in the back. So it's either a fix-a-flat or a plug kit. Now, most manufacturers actually won't service the warranty on their tires if you fix it with the fix-a-flat. So we're going to a plug kit here to make sure that the warranty of your tire stays intact, but you're also going to rejuvenate your tire in the case of a flat. This is going to be awesome for those of you who are super handy on the side of the road because all that you really have to do, once you remove the nail, one of these handles in the kit will allow you to bore out that hole that the nail caused, giving you a rough surface to allow the plug to connect to. As soon as you've bored out the hole, the other handle is where you're going to attach the plug and then apply the rubber cement. Then stick that handle in with the plug and pull it out. If you need to, cut it to length and then allow it to dry for a little bit. But the one tool that I typically see people forget in their BMWs, especially the ones without a full-size spare, is an air compressor. The reason why you need an air compressor is because you just let out a whole ton of air in your tires. And when it comes to repairing a tire, how can you repair a tire without air? The awesome thing about this air compressor, unlike most air compressors that you have to watch it the entire time that it's pumping air into the tire, this one, you just set it at the designated PSI that you want, and then hit start, and it's good to go. As soon as it cuts the power, you know for sure that your tire is at that designated PSI. And for those of you who go above and beyond, of course you can get a tire pressure gauge here, but because of this air compressor, you really don't need it. Now that we've covered our flat tire, let's go ahead and jump into the engine bay and see what we need for that in case anything goes wrong while we're driving. Now this next essential tool isn't actually gonna be something that you need while you're driving. It's probably gonna be something that you need before you even start the car because your car's not starting. Whether it be that you have a weak battery or a light was left on when you got to your destination and when you came back, your cars aren't turning over, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a jumper in your car. Versus having jumper cables, you have to make sure that the car is in the right position. You have to make sure that the car is strong enough to get it. This isn't gonna be a problem for this jumper. And the reason why is because most BMWs, they're just a 3-liter engine, nothing too crazy here. And this battery pack here from NOCO is actually the second tier of their line of jumpers. We don't need anything super crazy. We're not a huge diesel truck here. And this is gonna get by for most BMW owners and have some juice left just in case you can't recharge it every single time. Not only that, is that has a light to it so that if you're stuck on the side of the road, you can use the strobe function in order to let oncoming traffic know that you're there and they won't hit you. Now, as most of you BMW owners know, your battery is in the trunk. So if you're going to jump your car, you're going to want to place this on your battery. Just say for instance, you have valuables in your trunk that you don't want to show off as you're trying to jump your car because you're in a vulnerable position. So you might want to jump it from the engine bay. And the way that you're going to do that is by lifting up this cover here to reveal the positive terminal. And you might be saying to yourself, where's the negative terminal? Well, just below that, right next to the coolant tank expansion reservoir is your negative terminal. So just knowing that you have 2 locations to jump your car if necessary is great because, like I said, maybe you have something valuable in the trunk that you don't want to show off while you're trying to jump your car. So go to the engine bay. So I don't even think I'm keeping count anymore, but the jumper is number 5. Number 6 is going to be this set of wrenches here. Now this wrench set, also being at number 6, comes in a set of 6. But you might be saying to yourself, Fritz, there's only 4 there. And the reason why is because if you're on a budget, the only 2 wrenches that you need to keep in your BMW at all times is going to be an 8 and a 10mm wrench. This is going to get you through any of those roadside emergencies 90% of the time. Now for that last 10%, you're gonna want a screwdriver set with multiple heads here. As you can see, my screwdriver set has a little zipper here and all of the heads that I could possibly need for any roadside assistance. This is gonna include the Phillips head and flat head that most of these hose clamps that aren't an 8 or a 10mm can get to. This is also going to include the T20 bit that are often found in the BMW screws all around the engine bay, as well as the interior of the car. So you're definitely covered here. Great thing about this kit is that it can stow away in the dead space in your trunk. The plug kit can fit right next to the battery, but you can see that there's enough space in here to slide in our air compressor, as well as our jumper on top. And as for the side compartment here, this is going to be a perfect place for your jack, the handle for it, the wrenches, your lug wrenches, your screwdriver, and even enough space for your hockey puck. And don't worry, I did not forget about those of you who do not want to be fiddling around with your BMW on the side of the road. For those of you who want nothing to do with your BMW in case it breaks down on the side of the road, you only need one tool, and that is the BMW tow hook. This is gonna make sure that when the tow comes to get you, it's gonna be able to remove your BMW safely, but not damage any of the critical components in your car. Now getting on to the giveaway, or the second part at least of it. The second part is gonna be combining the best 2 elements of the last 2 essential tools that we talked about. And that is going to be the screwdriver as well as the wrenches. What if you had one tool that could combine the screwdriver elements with the wrench set? And that is exactly what we get out of this ratchet set here. It gives you the 8 and 10mm socket with a few other socket sizes. That way you can rest assured that if anything happens to you on the side of the road, you can tackle it. But it even gives you an adapter. That way you can attach a screw head like a flathead, a Phillips head, a T20 in order to accomplish any other job that the sockets won't allow you to. And the cool thing here is that this handle, it extends to give you the extra leverage that you might need, or if you need to go a little bit deeper into the engine bay, you can do that with this. And the handle actually, if you turn it, will turn the head of the socket. So you don't need a traditional big breadth of area to swivel the socket around to loosen or tighten up a bolt, or a screw in this case, because that's what you'd be using it for. You can actually turn the handle if it's in a tight area. So this is an amazing tool that combines so many functions into one simple tool, which it's not gonna take up that much space in your trunk. So all that you have to do to enter in the giveaway is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know down in the comment section what you missed the most from BMWs. What legacy feature do you wish that current day BMWs had? I actually really miss 3 features, and that is going to be the toolkit, the full-size spare, as well as the hydraulic steering. Weird enough, because I really don't think that the electronic steering gives you enough feedback when you're on the road. Of course, you get used to it, but it is something that I do truly miss. But let me know what you miss the most from legacy BMWs that are not present in current day BMWs down in the comment section below.
And of course, if you're interested in any of the other products that we went over today, they're all gonna be listed out in the description. But while you're here, you might as well try your hand at the giveaway.
So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and if you have any other questions, please leave those down in the comment section as well. And I'll see all of you guys in the next one, and good luck.